Here we go. What's up, guys? This is Jay from Generation Geek. Today we have some good stuff for you guys. We're going to talk about this comic owner of 30 years who's calling out the comic book industry. Also, the new video of Johnathan Majors' situation with his girlfriend is recently released, so we're going to cover that. And of course, the new Infinite Crisis trailer just released as well, and we're going to be going over that. So you guys get ready because we got some good stuff in store. Pops, roll the clip.
What up, what up, what up? Hey, son. Man, it has been a great week for geek culture. Okay. Welcome to Generation Geek. I am Doc Solo, the Pops, the old G from way back in the day. Generation X representing.
And I'm Jay. It's a little bit of the new school, but I'm getting a little old myself. So, you know, I don't know. I got some old thoughts and way of looking at things, but we are here.
We are here, and welcome to, the first installment of Generation Geek. We've been planning this for a while, and, you know, since we're getting our sea legs under us with streaming and content and all this other stuff, we just really wanted to create a channel where you can get two different perspectives from multiple generations of geekdom. As I said, you know, I'm Gen X, and I'm a professional comic book artist and animator. You can check me out at Kapow School, and I am the proud father of 4. This is my son, the second eldest boy, the one who is following in his daddy's footsteps. And he surpassed me in all things geek, to be quite honest. His knowledge is kind of scary. You know, me, I draw and I teach it, but he is knee deep in geek culture, and he helps keep me abreast of what's hot, what's current. And like most OGs, I'm still kind of a little bit more focused on the past, probably a little bit more than I should be. But we got some good things today. We're fresh off the presses. He literally just hit me up with this, and for some reason we're dropping frames, but we're gonna keep going anyway. Fresh off the presses, son. What's happening? What is happening?
Oh, well, so as of literally like an hour ago, Johnathan Majors, the video of him and his girlfriend, as we know, Johnathan Majors was cast as Kane the Conqueror, who he was playing a very good job at doing. But he had some legal issues come up with some domestic violence claims with him and his girlfriend. But recently, as of today, a video just came out that might just show that things didn't go exactly as she told it.
They've been dragging his brother's name through the mud, you know, to be quite honest. And I reserve commentary even now, okay, only because the final chapter has been written in this story, right? But it's not looking good for old girl's claims, to say the least. You know, let's see what we can pull up here. I think TMZ just pulled up some footage that let's see if we can.
Tomorrow, can we go to the playground?
No, commercials.
All right, we're headed to the playground.
Yeah, we're going to the playground.
Have fun.
All right, so let's skip this. Oh, this is the crisis. That's not the one we want. That's not the one we want. Hold on. That's not the one we want. I thought I had these. I'll take care of this in post.
Most of you are aware that
my thing is dragging anyway.
Of your universe. I've got
right on my too. I can even hear it. It's like, stop it.
That does not look good. You got that right.
It's not. My thing ain't even switching scenes. Hold up.
The threat is real.
Let's see if I'm being ambitious here. Again, that's the power of being able to go post.
After not pooping for 3 days, my mom was rushed to the hospital.
After not pooping for 3 days.
So if you're constipated or bloated on
I'm thinking that I might just have to go ahead and
told her to try prune juice, then
pull
fiber
in the
supplements
videos
and
themselves.
Then came the prescription laxatives. But when all of these failed and she was in morbid danger.
All right. Here we are, fresh from DMZ. This is camera footage caught from the street concerning the incident of Johnathan Majors and his fight with his former girlfriend. He's now with Megan Good, I heard. Yeah, he's with Megan Good. We won't talk about that. We won't talk about that. We won't talk about that. So yeah, let's see what's happening here. You see him getting out of the car.
He's trying to put her into the car.
Yep.
She's trying to fight him. Now at this point, he's just trying to get away from her. Look at it. He's running.
And she won't let go. And she chases him around the corner. Get in the car.
She might be drunk or something.
Might be drunk. Like she may have hit her head a little bit while he's trying to get her in the car.
Yeah.
In the middle of traffic. I don't quite know, especially if someone's, all right. So for those of you all don't know, I'm a retired Chicago police officer, law enforcement, 27 years. And I can just speculate, but my man is gone, and that's not a good look.
Who chases their abuser? That's the
right.
That's
who pursues their abuser? That's bizarre. And my man's still running. Oh my God, she's about to get hit by a car.
Oh yeah, she mentally not right. He looked both ways when he crossed the street. She didn't even look.
That is something.
And so
and he's still running different camera angles. My man is still running. My man's in shape though. Johnathan Majors stays in shape. And just so you know, he's a former.
She's still following him though. She walking.
She's literally tracking down her alleged abuser. Johnathan Majors is a former, I think, collegiate track star. So you ain't catching him, girl.
Wow, and then she calls.
Wow.
This is when the police call is made. This is
wow.
wild.
And here he comes back. Here he comes back. Again, not a great situation, as we know, to be quite honest, as black men.
Yeah, not at all.
Especially when all the people around her are, happen to be European, and she pursues him some more. Now, mind you, now granted,
they are complexually aligned.
Yeah. Now, mind you, I don't know. We don't know this guy from a can of paint. We know this guy from a can of paint. Don't know his character. Not attesting to how he normally is, but when we hold in light what he's been charged with, albeit a misdemeanor, and this is the thing that we forget. These are misdemeanor charges. Okay. Misdemeanor charges. There's no felony charges here. Misdemeanor is basically anything that is punishable by less than a year of incarceration. Typically handled with minimal incarceration to a fine or fines. And there we got the police officers on the scene.
Yeah.
And
what in the world? Oh, this is when she.
This is body cam footage.
This is from another day when he called the police for her because she was. Look, he said
I haven't been.
This is how it all started. Yeah, this is how it all started. This was the original claim, and she's like, I broke her finger, but she was out drinking in the club the night before. That footage came out when she was saying that she was hurt or whatever, and that first footage was the new one. That's the new initial footage that shows him actually running from her, and then she said that he beat her, broke her. Honestly, I'm a martial artist. He's a cop. We know how
former
cop.
But of almost 30 years. Almost 30 years, yeah.
We know it looks like when a woman gets hit. Like, we know that when a woman has been beaten, we know what that looks like. And then there was claims that she was drunk, and then the pictures that show her fingers and stuff was fine. That when she allegedly said that she was hurt or broke her finger or whatever, she was out clubbing and partying with her friends. So it's a real sketchy situation. We haven't liked how the brother's been dragged through the mud. Again, like I said, we don't know him. More evidence could come out, but for right now, the evidence is pretty damning against her.
Yeah.
And who chases their abuser? Like in your line of police work,
I've never seen
cases
it.
they abuse them.
I've never seen it.
I mean,
I've never seen it. I have been stopped many times on the streets of Chicago, where domestics have a tendency to run rampant. People don't realize that domestic crimes are unfortunately still very common, but I've never seen an abuser. I don't care if it was a slap, right? Let alone the beat down that she claimed to have endured and encountered at the hands of Mr. Majors. I've never seen them pursue their attacker. I've never seen it.
yeah.
It does not happen. It does not happen.
Yeah.
They immediately flee to seek help from passersby or law enforcement.
With genuine fear, genuine fear.
With genuine
clearly
fear.
Clearly, she does not fear this man. And have you seen no picture of Johnathan Majors after Creed? That's a big boy. That man,
The boy's built like a brick.
man built.
Yeah,
Like-
and he stays in that shape. Like my son owns a gym. We're also fitness professionals. My son stays in the gym. He runs a gym, right? I used to be his trainer as well as many others, and he made it into a business. And so when it comes on the fitness spectrum, my man is about that life. Okay, so number one, she wasn't catching him. Believe that. Okay, right. Like I said, my man's a former, I think, a collegiate level, or I think he ran track in college. Okay. Number one. Number two, the footage is not consistent with her story of someone that was, the law as it reads, in fear of receiving a battery or harm. Right. That this is pretty much global. It may vary the verbiage from city to city, state to state, but that's not consistent with someone that is in legitimate, reasonable fear of receiving a battery or bodily harm.
Yeah, for sure.
Something's missing.
It's missing. More details to come out. Like I said, we like them as Kang. We have heard rumors of them obviously trying to replace him with Doom. And it was a little rough to obviously see him lose to Ant-Man. That made no sense. But that's
You liked him as Kang? I didn't like him as Kang. I didn't like him as Kang. Kang. I didn't like him as Kang, though I like him as an actor. I think he's a good actor. All right. So again, I like the idea of him as Kang. I felt I like the idea of him as Kang. I didn't like the execution per se. I felt that he was a little. I think he overacted a little bit to me, right? Like I loved him in Lovecraft Country. Yeah, that's when I got that's when he came on my radar. Lovecraft Country.
I went back and benched all of that.
Man,
Lovecraft Country.
Lovecraft. That whoever's watching this, y'all missed the boat by canceling and not continuing Lovecraft Country. Granted, even though I think, spoiler alert, he dies at the end. Still, if that was how they set the pace, they could have continued because he really led off. He did Lovecraft Country. And I've liked him in other things that he's played in. I liked him in Creed. I didn't necessarily like him as Kang, though. I didn't like the role. I felt that he kind of overplayed a little bit. That's just my opinion. Sound off in the comments. Let us know what you think. But we're not, at least I'm not. And we can do it because this is our channel. We can say how we feel. Right now, it's not looking good for old girl.
Sure ain't.
It's not looking for old girl. It's not looking good for old girl. We definitely are not supporting any type of domestic violence or abuse. Actually, when I was on the streets, that was something that really, we have things that trigger us. That was something that really, really got to me when I saw a battered woman. Right? Yeah, that's something that I didn't tolerate well, and every once in a while, let's just say, dude.
In person, so I never had a reaction. So I've never seen the domestic in front of me. So
you never grew up in it. Me and your mama don't get down like that, right?
I don't know how.
And when I tell you it's not a reach, Now, granted, in my experience, I have seen more women than I'm comfortable with falsely accuse brothers of domestic abuse. Right? I've seen that too. We're not advocating it, but that's a sword that cuts both ways, because historically that's an automatic arrest typically. Right? I've seen brothers come home too late from the club, pass out on the couch, 3:00 in the morning. We get in a call. He put his hands on me. We get there. Dude is passed out. Visual inspection. No bruises. No, we've seen it countless times. Me and Uncle Mike, when he was my partner. You know what I mean? And because we knew that historically, black man, that is a guaranteed night in lockup for us 9 times out of 10 should the wrong officer show up.
Definitely taking a ride for sure.
You taking a ride, bruh. You cooling out.
Taking a ride.
You in the ice box, right? And you are ordered to stay away for 72 hours. So good luck wherever you go. It's your business, right? And we've seen that. And then the very next week, we just happen to see him at the grocery store together. You know what I mean? Or, you know, it was a script to it. And so, granted, the jury's still out. And let's keep in mind, it's gotten a lot of media attention, son, right? Most misdemeanors don't get this much attention if it wasn't, number one, Johnathan Majors, and quite honestly, number two, a black man with his stature on the rise. A black man with a European woman. Okay? With a European woman. That has been a historic kiss of death for a black man. Okay? Just saying. Just saying.
We both been in serious relationship with white women.
Yes.
We both been in.
Yes. I've never had that. I've never had them scream, scream, help, help. None of that. But history has shown Emmett Till. We can go on and on. Countless stories that have not been told. If you guys follow me at Kapow School or any of my other channels, I keep it a buck. The same dude is consistent, just the platform's different. Okay? The platform is different, but it's still me, still your boy. And so I hope that true justice is served in this case. I really do. Sure. However that looks, again, we're not saying that he is completely absolved. Don't know what happened in the truck. But I know we can just go by what we see.
Just go by what he sees. For all we know, he knew his cameras out there, so he decided to act a different type of way when he got out of the car. We don't know.
We do not know.
But what we do know is that victims do not chase their abusers. That's all I gotta say.
Does not happen. Especially when they ain't got no backup.
So, especially when their girlfriends ain't with them or their brother or whoever.
No. So we'll see what happens there. We'll be keeping an eye out. And the reason this falls into the purview of Generation Geek is because Marvel dropped them eventually. First, Marvel was very slow to cast aspersions on this brother. Huh?
Did they drop them?
I think they dropped them.
I know.
I think in light of, I know his management company dropped him immediately.
Yeah, they dropped him fast.
They dropped him like a hot coal off the grill. Okay. They dropped brother like he was on fire. Right?
If he comes out not guilty, he gonna have some real nice lawsuits.
Not only lawsuits, but think about the potential for a misdemeanor. Let's keep that in mind. I'm gonna keep saying that. Because all things aren't created equal. This is a misdemeanor. Okay? Yeah. A misdemeanor. For you all who don't know what a misdemeanor is the equivalent of, if you're stealing, taking a can of pop, a liter of pop, you dig what I'm saying, and some chips without paying for it, passing the last point of sale, you can be charged with a misdemeanor. Right?
Right.
So the level, what they've raised this to, again, we know because of who it is, the dynamics of the relationship, all those factors play a significant role, because not too many people are saying misdemeanor. They're not stressing that. The Johnathan Majors case, the Johnathan Majors domestic violence case. The Johnathan Majors. This is all you hear.
Hear the word litigation.
Litigation. Yes. The trial of Johnathan Majors. The news, man. It's the media. But check the record. It's a misdemeanor.
Mm-hmm.
It's the misdemeanor. Now, we're not even talking. I'm not even talking intention. I believe that's all they could really squeeze out of this. I'm sure they wanted something higher.
Yeah, for sure.
I guarantee you, somebody wanted to make their career off of this.
Mm-hmm.
But with all the legal elements and the elements of the situation and the evidence, all they could get was a misdemeanor. I guarantee you somebody wanted felony charges. I guarantee you. If you all got proof of that, I guarantee you it started there and was broken down. I guarantee you. I'd almost guarantee you.
No, you're for sure.
Okay. So we'll be keeping an eye on Mr. Majors and what happens with this. But ain't looking good, girl. Ain't looking good. You know. Also how they tried to, she was an adult and they wouldn't release her name for the longest.
They didn't. I could not find her. I didn't know who his girlfriend was for a long time.
And finally, the judge was like, she's not a protected status. Why y'all not? Finally, the judge was like, no, release her like you would anybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's a lot to talk about there, a lot to unpack there, but we'll be checking it out on Generation Geek. This literally came in today as we started setting up for the show. Yes, you found a good one. And so I think his name is Glen O'Leary is next on the docket. Glen O'Leary. If you guys have been, yes, Glen O'Leary. I think it's from, was it Comics Palace or Comics? Let me see if I can find the right one on this. Yes. This is in Bounding into Comics. Comic book pros mock, deny complaints of veteran comic shop owner regarding the abysmal state of the market. His business is dying because he refuses to change with the times. Gotta love the gaslighting. Gotta love it.
That's definitely a gaslit title for sure.
Yeah. And so if you all have seen this, let me see if I can find the clip. They have the clip itself. This is him right here. Right? This is him right here. This dude he's been, what's the term they say, son, y'all youngins? Body shamed?
Oh, yeah.
He's been body shamed. Yes.
He's
been body shamed by industry pros.
Really?
I think his name is Ramon Villalobos.
Oh.
Ramon Villalobos, who is, if he is lucky, is a C-level comic artist. If he's at a C-level Villalobos, I mean, he's fundamentally solid. If somebody runs a school, I'm not going to disparage his abilities, but I ended up going to look at his art and his Instagram. And so he doesn't have a style that aesthetically is appealing to me, but he's solid. But he called this man, what did he call him? He called him hog-faced or something. So, but here's the thing, son. Mr. Villalobos is over 300 pounds.
Oh, yeah, that's a big boy.
He's over 300 pounds.
Happy fellow.
What? Pot, meat, kettle. So like, right? But other industry pros. Come on, man. But that's what is called in debating, I believe, an ad hominem fallacy. I think that's what that's called, an ad hominem fallacy, that by degrading or calling someone out their name is an attempt in debating in the debate arenas to disqualify everything that person has to say.
Right.
Okay. Simply because they're this, right? I call you a jerk. Now, everything you say, because I put that thought in people's mind, everything you say is now illegitimate.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
That works.
And so let's see what Mr. O'Leary said from the comic book palace that was so inflammatory. See if we can get past these ads. If not, we'll just edit it and post.
Most of these new writers don't have the love of comics like these older writers had. And all they care about is, how can I put myself in the book? No, we don't care what you would do if you were Iron Man. We don't care who you are. You're writing Tony Stark. You're not writing yourself in a book. If that's the case, write your own comic with you in it. No one will read it because nobody cares. People grew up, are growing up loving Peter Parker, loving Miles Morales, loving all these Captain America. We don't need you to put your input in it. Just write Steve Rogers. Don't write Steve Rogers. What would Steve Rogers be if I was Steve Rogers? That's not how it works. But that's again how most of these new people write nowadays. That's why most of the stuff is shit. Because we don't care what you would do, because we don't care about your life whatsoever. Just write a book, get paid for what you do, get paid for what you're supposed to be doing, and make it a good story. We don't care. We don't need your opinion.
All right. That was the clip that went viral. We're going to come back to this. I want to hear what you got to say about that one, son.
You know, we live in this new age of wokeness. Everybody feels like that they have to be able to identify or see themselves in a character when that's what makes the character who they are. I don't look at Superman. I don't look at Tony Stark. I don't look at Captain America to see a representation of a young black man with tattoos. That's not what I'm reading it for. I'm reading the story for Superman. So why, as a writer, do I have to put myself in the book? You don't. If that's the case, make yourself your own character. Like, if I want to identify as a young black man, I could look at somebody like Miles Morales or Static Shock or even Falcon. Like, you can make another character. Like, you can make another character your way, but don't try to write a story in which that character has been this same way for what? How long Superman been around? What, 80 years?
Since 1938? I think 1938.
How am I going to? How am I? He was written by was it Jim Schuster?
Schuster and Siegel.
Schuster
Yep.
and Siegel. So and they are what, Polish?
Jewish.
They were Jewish.
They were
made by young men. I don't expect to see myself in Superman. I don't expect it. I'm reading it for Superman.
Right.
So I agree. You wanted a Muslim character? We got Kamala Khan. You wanted what they call Puerto Rican mixed with a black person? We got Miles Morales. Like, we have characters for that. You don't have to make them have. They don't have that same what they call it the same sexual whatever you identify as. If you're bisexual, homosexual, like for me personally, I obviously have no issue against people of any gender. Let's just get that out. LGBTQ2, but Iceman didn't have to be gay. This entire time, Iceman was a womanizer. Now all of a sudden he's bisexual because somebody felt like a writer had to feel like he had to identify with him. You didn't have to identify him. You just had to write the character and make a good story. Just tell a good story. I don't care who he wants to sleep with. That I don't care about Iceman's love interest. There ain't many love interests most people care about. There's Lois and Clark. There's Peter and Mary Jane. Batman and Catwoman. Mr. Reed Richards and Sue Richards. And Gambit and Rogue. And Jean and our little triangle Wolverine and Cyclops.
Right.
Everybody else we really don't care about. Like, we don't care about who they sleep with. Like, just write a good story and let the characters be the characters. If you want something new or you want something to relate to, make it yourself. Send it with Marvel. And if Marvel doesn't like it, guess what? You're not that interesting. You're not. So that's my little spiel on it.
I have taught you well. Well done, Padawan. Let me tell you something. You are all up in the Kool-Aid, man. I don't know at what point people ran out of enough creative substance where they can't create compelling stories that are relevant to the established character. I don't know when the landscape shifted where narcissism crept into the fact where if I cannot relate to this character, to heck with the tens of thousands of fans that actually do.
Right.
That are already pre-established. Right? I don't know where now you're talking to somebody. So I create characters. I'm a writer and I have my own studio in addition to my school. I'm creating characters, number one, that resonate with the audience.
All right.
Because if I hope for those things to survive as a creator, I can't be the only one reading it. Okay?
Right.
I can't be the only one reading it. And hopefully I tell a compelling enough story to where I fit. Now, granted, it's through my lens. It's processed and filtered through my perception of the world. But it's got to stay true to that specific character. Okay? I had no problem. I don't know when it happened. I forget. You probably know this. But when the very first gay Marvel character was announced, North Star from Alpha Flight. North Star from Alpha Flight. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just North Star. But North Star and the Warrior's twin sister. But North Star was the first mainstream gay character that Marvel announced. There was no need to retcon, number one, because North Star was a crap character that didn't have a lot of substance anyway. You understand? So nobody really cared.
Yeah.
But he didn't have to be rewritten. He didn't have to be retconned. He was pretty much a blank slate as far as his history was concerned. So when you tell us now that he's gay, we rocked with it. Cool.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
That's his character. That's him. That's who he is.
Cool.
He didn't have much development anyway. So okay.
We rocked with that. The retconning. Now, mind you, if you haven't checked this out, if you haven't noticed already, you're looking at two black men. Comics were never written to me, historically. They weren't written to me largely until Milestone, 1993, with Dwayne McDuffie, Dennis Cowan, and that whole crew. Okay, I think Reginald Hudlin he missed the boat on that first incarnation. He turned him down, but the original Milestone crew, that was transformative to me. You see, I'm rocking the X hat. If y'all watch me on the internet, you see this. The only time you don't see this hat, you see me at cons, some people call me Mr. X. I'm like, no, it's Solo, right? This is a representation of my generation. It's my affection for Milestone, original Phase 1, this new incarnation. We'll talk about that on another episode of the issues that I have found with Milestone. But they were written towards me, and I accepted them as face value because you didn't give me a black Superman, you gave me Icon. You gave me a Superman-esque story, right? But you gave me Icon, where his path was totally different. And it resonated with me. But here's the thing, it ain't gonna resonate with everybody. You just told me a good story. You wasn't trying to, there was a message in it. And I think as a creator, that is one of the luxuries we have as writers, is we get to send a compelling message, but never at the expense of the story, man. We don't sacrifice the character on the story on the altar of agenda. I teach my students at Kapow this, and I have LGBTQ gay students, right? We don't have the same belief system, but I love them to pieces. And my job is to help them tell their story in a compelling way. And my students, if you're watching this, feel free to chime in. Okay? Feel free to chime in. You've heard Doc Solo tell you, listen, if this is what you want to say, fine. But I'm not going to accept if it's not on the wings of a good story. It'll never get to me if the story's but if the story is good, if your story is compelling, if your characters are engaging, everything that you attach to that, I have to receive.
Right.
Your meta commentary, your message, right? If it's virtuous, but very few of these creators today, they are leading with message, and the story and the characters are dying because of their message, whatever that message may be. Okay. Whether it's civil rights, whether it's gay rights, whether it's religious position, whatever. None of that gets to the audience if it's not carried skillfully in a nice Birkin bag of story.
The Birkin bag.
I don't even know what Birkin is. I just know women want it, right? But if you put something in that bag, put anything in that bag, right? That's what story is. Okay, story is that $10,000 Birkin or that Gucci or that Louis Vuitton. That's what story is, right? It's the valuable thing. And whatever you put in it, if I want what's inside, I'm more likely to receive it if it's in that valuable, precious bag that we call story. I have to take it. What did Mary Poppins say? A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. Right? It's got to be sweet. Make it sweet.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not doing that. And that's the problem. You know what I mean? They're putting themselves. And here's the funny thing. Let's go back to this. I want to see. Let's go back to this. Okay, let's go back to this. Here's what I thought was absolutely absurd about this. You had industry pros. You had industry professionals. Donnie Cates, Jamal Igle. I wouldn't call their names if they didn't put their names on. See, this is why I stay away from Twitter.
For real.
I was telling the dudes at the comic book store when we were talking about this, I stay away from Twitter not because I can't handle it. I stay away from Twitter because I might handle it wrong. And that's the truth. Okay? I might handle it wrong because them folks, man, they just have that keyboard courage on spades. They just get reckless with their opinions and their views on Twitter. Okay? Just reckless. And if you can't tell, I'm from the old school. You might want to tread carefully with some of the things you say. Okay. But they came at this dude, Jamal Igle and them. And here's the funny thing. You're talking and demeaning a guy that is boots on the ground for your entire livelihood. Comics ain't every digital platform of comics is folded. Newspapers and newsstands no longer exist, right? They no longer exist. Most people, if they're getting comics and you are a creator in the comic book industry, you are getting them via the comic retailer, right? You understand? And this guy's been doing it for 30 years. You might want to listen to what him and others like him have to say because they're placing the orders.
For sure.
They're placing the orders. Every metric that you may be able to find on ICV2 or I forget the other site that records the data, it's because these dudes are ordering it and they have to report the units that they're selling. But see, publishers and those that are allied with the publishers, they want this false narrative. The comics are healthy. Newsflash. Since the 90s bubble, comics ain't never been healthy. They weren't healthy before it, and they weren't healthy after it.
Yeah, well, yeah. What was that over the Death Superman thing, or was it the?
It was. I think the Heritage auction. I believe it was when the speculators market boomed when Action Comics went for $1 million or something. Everybody thought they was going to hit the lottery by collecting comics, and at that time, Image popped off, and everybody was all the variant cover trend. That's what started this variant cover cancer that is killing the industry.
Yeah.
This variant cover cancer that's killing the industry. But that's where it started, because now you could get multiple number ones. No different interior, just different covers.
Right.
And when that bubble burst, the industry, it imploded. It absolutely imploded. I was trying to find here some of the comments. This is all about Mr. O'Leary. You can read it here on Bounding Into Comics. It's up there. But some of the people that sounded off, what got me was like Donnie Cates. Bruh, he ain't even talking to you. Who are you defending, Donnie Cates?
I kind of always tell you how much Hammer suck.
Donnie Cates, he wrote that run on. Donnie Cates is a bad boy.
Donnie Cates is now. I like Donnie Cates.
Donnie Cates is a bad boy. Bruh, you're doing too much. He ain't talking to you, bruh. Why thou protesteth too much? Why are you even in this conversation, Donnie?
They tagged Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane.
Come on, man. But come on.
Marvel.
Donnie Cates has something to say. Jamal Igle, who is another brother in the industry. Kudos to the handful of chocolate chips in the batter that are doing it at a high level. But Jamal ain't been on a major book in a minute. And I actually like Jamal's work, quite honestly. I think he should be getting more work. So again, Jamal, why are you even sounding off on this? You dig what I'm saying? Why are you even sounding off on this? Are you trying to show allegiance to a broken system, to a predatory system? This is why I'm largely not in the mainstream. It's not because I'm not good enough. Y'all want to see my skills? Trust me, it's all over. Check me out at Kapow School.
Pull up on them.
Pull up on me. Holler at your boy. Pull up on me. I'm standing 10 toes down. Okay, so I'll put my pencil where my mouth is. Okay. Yeah, I put my pencil where my mouth is. I've done some things. If you want to know, I'm going to have two of my students are going to be interviewing me for the channel at Kapow School. Same dude, different temperament, but this is me and my son. This is how we talk. Y'all, we just inviting y'all into the conversation. This is how we talk. And so I'm not pandering to an audience. We just thought it'd be good for you guys to see our relationship and how we interact as father and son. He grew up in this culture.
Yes, sir.
Literally. He grew up in this culture around industry pros. He doesn't draw, but when they're talking about an eye for story and an eye for art, it's well trained. My son's eye is well trained. He grew up in this culture literally. Yeah. Okay, literally all the cons. You understand, as a kid, all the cons. Hobnobbing with his favorite artists, industry heavy hitters when he was a youngin'. And my name is good in them comic book streets. Those who know me know. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so I'm looking at Jamal Igle, and I was kind of taken back because I don't know this brother. But I'm like, you don't see the logic in what he's talking about, man?
Yeah.
You don't see the logic?
His business is dying because he refuses to change. No, it's not his business. His business is trying because of the stories that you're writing.
And Jamal ain't even a writer. He's an artist.
Or artist. People are not coming to the comic store for him.
Right.
They're coming there for the product, my boy.
They're coming there for the product.
All comic book stores have been hurting for a long time. So it's not him. He's not the reason. Trust me, he's not.
He's not the reason. To that point, I'm going to be interviewing my home store comic book retailer for my channel at Kapow School. I'm going to be interviewing him this upcoming Sunday in the shop. It'll be up in the next couple of weeks because I wanted to get his take, because we talk about this stuff in the stores, y'all. And to lay this at the feet of them, Mark Millar beat me to the punch today, son. I was working out this morning, but he's Mark Millar. You know, he's one of my favorite all-time writers. We're talking Wanted. Mark Millar ain't even got a dog in this fight really anymore. He done made so much loot selling his company, Miller World, with all his stuff on Netflix and Wanted the movie. Whatever you thought about it, it got made. Okay. Kick-Ass, that's Mark Millar. Movies got made. You know what I mean? Jupiter's Legacy, whatever you think about it, got it done. Right. Now he's got the what's it, American Jesus or something like that. That's his. That's on Netflix. Okay, got it done. All right, so the dude don't need comics anymore. He still makes them. He still makes them and makes good ones.
If you don't with a resume like that,
The dude got that loot. He, to his credit, came to this. Here's the funny thing: cancel culture came at this brother, and real culture responded. You heard? I'm calling cancel culture versus real culture responded, right? And they backed this brother. They showed him so much stuff. He even just posted a thank you video, but they came at him, challenging his character, calling her. If you watch his entire video, there is nothing racial about it outside that he mentioned Miles Morales, but how people love Miles Morales, right? Yeah. Because he's a solid character.
He was a original character.
Derivative, but original.
He's derivative, but original. He's different. He has his own style. He has his own character. He has his own powers. He's more powerful than Spider-Man. Because he's got bit by a different spider. I love him. Like, I love him.
In a different universe.
I just grinded the whole Spider-Man 2 game. He's a different character from Peter.
He's different. He's different.
Not replacing him. It's two of them.
No.
It's two Spider-Mans. That's fine.
Which I have a problem with, because of identity crossover. But yeah. It was something. It was a legitimate attempt. It wasn't a retcon. It wasn't lazy.
Yeah.
You're right. He wasn't lazy. And he calls him out as lazy. It wasn't lazy. It wasn't creatively lazy. Right. And that's what I can appreciate. And so they tried calling this guy racist. They did everything. But Mark Millar came to his aid, son, and responded with his tweet and then invited him on his YouTube channel. It's only 10 minutes long. Y'all can check it out on Millar Time. Right. That's his YouTube channel, Millar Time, where he talks to the man and thanks him for what he does. And then this morning, because I'm new to this social media thing, and so yesterday I planted the idea and we're going to do the interview with my retailer. But Mark Millar had 3 major U.S. retailers in a roundtable. The video's an hour long. Watch it. Listen to what they are saying. One is Graham Crackers, which has nationwide stores here in the U.S. I think they started here in Chicago, right? Another one, the other 2 guys, one's out of Florida, and he's got multiple stores, and multiple like 10 or more, right? They've been doing it. The least of them have been in the comics retail business for 30 years. The least of them. One dude, 40 years. They're pulling up numbers, y'all. This man ain't lying. And to lay this at their feet with them and it's not just them. They have employees. They have people. No one's doing this to get rich. Ain't nobody getting rich off of this. Typically, this is not that type of industry. You enter for the passion, you enter for the love, and you stay because you committed. If lightning strikes and you get a financial windfall, you're one of the elite. Yeah. But it ain't common. You understand? And these guys ain't none of those. Retailers ain't none. They not signing deals. They're not getting media options and licensing agreements. They're not getting any of that. They have to buy the product, how much they think they can sell. And then I like one of the guys on Miller's. He says, you're talking about free marketing and promotion and we're paying you for it. Publishers, they're paying you to promote your product because they don't win unless your stuff sells in their stores. But nobody's talking to these guys. And then you have people whose livelihood, like Mr. Eigel, is foundationally dependent. Because I don't think you should know how the sausage is made by now. Do you understand what I'm saying? You should know how the sausage is made. You ain't new to this game, Brother Eigel. You ain't new to it. Donnie Cates, you ain't new to it. I would assume not if you're working in it. But to me, it is.
Not Donnie Cates.
It's comic book publishing's version of virtue signaling. Saying, here, boss, you see, I'm on your side. Boss, I'm on your side. Yeah, those guys, they should appreciate y'all abusing them. They should appreciate y'all making money mining the content. Because I watched one YouTube channel, son, and I'm going to let you chime in here. I watched one YouTube channel, and they said something that they heard from a Disney exec. And for you also know, Disney owns Marvel. They have for quite some time. No big news there. But they said they care more about t-shirts and balloons than they care about comics.
That merch.
Merchandise. Comics makes no money for the major media outlets that are propping them up. None. But what it does is it provides viable content for major media.
Yeah.
Because the well has run dry largely in Hollywood. The well has run dry.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're coming to these. It's no longer fringe, but in my era, it was fringe. You remember that. In my era, they're coming to these fringe creators with all these fantastic stories and ideas, and optioning them for major Hollywood or streaming productions.
Invincible, Walking Dead,
The Boys,
stuff that's not popular that the world knew nothing about. The Boys.
Yeah.
But now that's all you hear. The Boys, Homelander, he's in freaking Mortal Kombat. Omni-Man's in Mortal Kombat. Now we've been reading Invincible since forever as comic book geeks. We've been knew about Invincible. I know the whole story. Everybody's like, "Can you believe that happened?" I'm like, "Bro, I know what happened. I know how it ends. I know how the story ends."
Right.
Both of them. Before y'all, years before you guys been knew, and everybody. But now it's mass media. It's everywhere. They got T-shirts. It's the merch now. They just they're using them as scripts. They're using them as pre-written Hollywood scripts now. They just trying to take them and make them into shows and movies.
Right.
And just filling in with actors.
Right. And so Spider-Man editor Tom Brennan said this: 30-year comic shop owner knows nothing about how comics, I think they're supposed to be comics, have always been made. Here's the problem, folks. Here's the problem. Just because something has always been done a certain way doesn't mean it ever really worked.
Yep.
It just became a system. Okay? It just became a system. It became accepted as the norm. Doesn't mean it was optimal. Doesn't mean that it was healthy. Here's my thing to Mr. Brennan. As someone that has been in this game for 40 years. And though I've not been in your game, I chose not to enter. It wasn't because I wasn't good enough. Those who know my story know. I actually turned down DC Comics at 24. That's when I got my first major industry offer, 24 years old. And I was like, thank you, but no thank you. Because I had a mentor who showed me how the sausage was made.
Yeah.
And I had a wife and kids. I'm like, what they're doing is predatory. Are you kidding me? That's how they treat their creators. And then to have these said creators. One of the guys in the Millar thing, check it out when you get a chance. I think I sent it to you this morning. He said they just scared of you losing their job. And I get that. I get that. But don't sacrifice your integrity for that.
For sure.
There's tons of ways to make money. And do what you love in the process. Don't sell your soul for a paycheck. Don't sell your integrity for a paycheck. You understand what I'm saying?
Started with you. They started you when you were doing the but you know you were doing the trading cards for Marvel, and they was giving you penny for them cards, but then they were selling them for $300, but giving you $20, $25, $10, $15 per card or something like that, something crazy like that.
It wasn't even that.
Marvel.
It wasn't even that. It was less than $200. It was $3. It was $3 per card. Somebody inboxed me and said, "Solo, are these your cards on the secondary market?" I looked, and I'm watching my cards average in the resellers market $200 per. And folks didn't know who I was. They didn't know who I was. I'm not a name. I just got them skills, but I'm not a name. And my cards were averaging on the secondary market $200 per. You understand? I'm like, okay, this ain't changed in almost 20 years. I had done that in 20 years, man. Okay, I hadn't played in the pool of the industry in 20 years, and it hasn't changed. And he says the shop owner knows nothing about how it's always been made, and it's always been broken. It's always been broken. History lesson, people. History lesson. For you all who don't know, again, I have a school. Check us out at kapowschool.com. I know I may seem intense because I'm passionate, but my school's got 5 stars across the board. Check the Google reviews. Google has hired me. So I know something. Google hired me. Where you're watching this, the parent company of YouTube, I have Google paychecks to teach them comics. So I'm not oblivious to how the sausage is made. All right? I'm not oblivious to that. But here's a little history lesson, my friends. Do you know that when comics became a thing back in the 1930s, reputable illustrators and artists because illustration was king, newspapers were king, right? That's when print ruled all. Before there was television, there was radio and newspapers, okay? That's how Superman and Shazam, Captain Marvel became so popular, right? Yep. They ruled the media market. But do you know that reputable artists and creators, because comics was so frowned upon and so low bar, they used pseudonyms, aka nicknames. They didn't even want to be associated to what comics were. They didn't want to be associated with it. Okay? And comics have always been propped up on major media outlets. They've never been self-sufficient. They've largely never been self-sufficient. It was always Time Warner or a newspaper mogul that propped up the comics industry. So just because it's always been that way doesn't mean it needs to stay that way. Kudos to him for speaking out. You got anything else on this? Because we can keep going. This is a very hot topic. Check out his channel. He does a lot more videos. He's getting a lot of love. His followers are picking up. Mr. O'Leary on Comics Paradise. Check him out. I think you will. And check out what Mr. Millar had to say about him. It's all the wrong people saying all the wrong things.
For sure.
Not challenging the status quo. And so last but not least, what we got, son? Let's see if we can get it to work.
Oh, no, I gotta go.
Oh, you gotta go?
Yeah,
I thought you said, it is 3:30. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So we're going to sign off here, and we have real lives, and I got to get back to work in the studio. Live, yeah. We got real lives. So this is Generation Geek, and we'll see you later. And I'm Doc Solo.
And I'm Jay.
And AJ, check him out at Mr. Melee TV. He's playing them games. He's a monster on Mortal Kombat, ranked globally. Yes.
Play a lot of different games, streaming on Twitch, a lot of different stuff, and on YouTube as well.
And now he's got to go. Y'all be blessed. He's got to go tend to his clients. Talk to y'all later. God bless.
Peace.
So out. Peace.